Aftermath, aftermath, aftermath. You know, they've asked a lot of people what they felt about the decision against Yordenis Ugas and Shawn Porter. And yes, I said that in that order for that reason, because I feel Ugas was robbed last night. You know, I think the scorecards were meant to were scored to be close, just so it won't be that bad off. Except the first scorecard was weird. However, you know, you had the knockdown in the 12th, you know, and this is coming from Floyd Mayweather Sr. Floyd Mayweather Sr. admits like hell no, the boy from Cuba, you know, he whooped that ass. Porter got whooped tonight, you know, and he helped the fans boo Shawn Porter as they toted his ass back to the ring, right? Or should I say escorted him back to the ring. And yeah, he should have been, honestly, because Shawn Porter knew either he knew that fight was bought, all he had to do was make weight and not get knocked out, and he was going to win that fight. High caliber PBC fighter. Like I said, top on the totem pole, but this is coming from Floyd Mayweather Sr. And he spoke his mind and his opinion. And I agree with his opinion, because Shawn Porter lost that fight. You know, and he was like, hell no, it was a knockdown. What do you mean? You know, and I don't see how. And honestly, this is what gets me about boxing. Every so often, though, I believe it was the James Page versus Jose Luis Lopez fight, where they ruled it a draw, but then I think then they overturned it. It was either that fight or it was the Ike Corte Jose Luis Lopez fight, where it was ruled as a draw, I believe, and then they overturned it in Ike Corte's favor. But you don't really have that now, a lot of those. You don't have things that go up to the board. You'll rather have fights like Lara and who did Lara fight? The Punisher, Paul Williams. And they would expel all the judges because of shitty scorecards, but not overturn the record. So that's what you have these days, because if they had to do that, then people that betted on the fight or something like that, then they'd have to be accountable for bookies and all types of problems. I don't think they wanted that for that reason. You know what I mean? But if anything should happen with this fight, Shawn Porter, you know, should give him a rematch, but he won't, because he already said he wouldn't. You know, I mean, he's in the same position Canelo was in. And when Oscar says there will be no rematch, everyone wants a rematch. Lara has to go back behind the line. He has a lot of guys to fight. That type of shit. You know what I mean? So that's the number one thing that gives you the indication that it was a fixed fight and it was something shitty in Denmark, when the fighter that won doesn't want a rematch. You know what I mean? A lot of times it's like, oh yeah, we can run it back. We can run it back. But a lot of when they shut it down, the whole idea of having a rematch, hell no. I'm not gonna go through a bad fight again. Not a difficult fight like Ugas. He's not gonna rip those uppercuts to my stomach and my head like he did before. Hit me with these damn bolo punches. You know, hit me with these cleaner punches. You know, and I was looking at the comments of my last video about this topic when I did the breakdown, and a lot of people were saying that, hey, you know, even the punch count was wrong, like I stated in the video. So I'm not the only one that saw, wait a minute, he clearly got punched in his fucking face, Shawn Porter, and that score, that punches landed didn't change at all. It just stayed the same. You know what I mean? 69, bow, punch to the face. 69. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell? That was a punch. Count that shit, you know? Then Porter throws some punches that were landed. It's 2, 3, 72, 73, 74. I'm like, what the hell? Wait a minute. You know what I mean? Who's really counting this shit? Team Porter? So Team Porter's cousin is on the damn punch count list. He's getting a check. You know what I mean? So it's just a lot of corruption in that, man. It's something real shady and sketchy about what happened last night. And it's just, it doesn't sit with me well. But to add more insult to injury, Mayweather Sr., Errol Spence say, oh, he's going to get his ass whooped trying to be cute, right? Because people were seeing Shawn Porter got his ass whooped. But what does this mean? Aftermath, right? Back to the main topic. The aftermath of this, Shawn Porter lost a lot of credibility last night. There's no doubt about it. He lost some juice. You know, he was that guy known to have a close decision against Keith Thurman. And they knew this guy was no slouch. They knew that's why they didn't rush in like they did. But because he didn't, you know, Shawn Porter has a way of trying to out-hustle you. But he did a piss-poor job last night of it. And even Boxing Ego, you know, and he's kind of be neutral because, you know, he's like Team PBC and shit like that. But he did say, well, I did question why didn't Shawn Porter do more of an effort in the 12th round. Like, that's like the last opportunity for you to perform in this fight. Granted, it's so close. So if you look deeper into it, like, Will, you think about that, like, why didn't he? You know, and my first reaction was, he was hurt because of that knockdown. But if you think about it, okay, if you know in the back of your head, like, hey, follow the money, I'm the money guy, all I got to do is coast to the decision. So he might have just coasted. You know what I mean? So that was really probably what Boxing Ego wanted to say and couldn't say. Like, well, yeah, motherfucker, maybe he coasted. That's what you're really saying. You're just using different words. Like, oh, he just wasn't aggressive. No, he wasn't aggressive because he was coasting. There's a difference. He didn't want to get hit with one of those punches again, so he just coasted. And then how many times you can get knocked down and they don't rule it a knockdown? You know what I mean? And that's why they didn't do it. Everyone was paid, I believe, accordingly. Right? But back to Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter, he lost a lot of credibility. And looking at the future, since he won't give Ugas a rematch, Ugas becomes another victim, another Cuban fighter that has been shitted on by the politics. However, karma's a bitch. He goes in there and fights someone like Spence. When Spence, or if Spence beats Mikey Garcia, he's going to beat the shit out of him. You know, because you're looking at someone about the same height. You think about Ugas and Spence. They're about the same height. You know, the only difference is Spence has power. Spence sometimes he fights like Ugas, but Ugas is a better counterpuncher. And he's just more aggressive. And Shawn Porter is that type of guy that's tailor-made to get the shit beat out of him by Spence because he's shorter, he's smaller. And Spence, you know, of course, he's known to beat up smaller guys, i.e. Lamont Peterson. You know what I'm saying? Possibly soon to be Mikey Garcia. So, yeah, he's accustomed to beating the shit out of little guys or shorter guys. Shawn Porter ain't little, but he's short. You know what I'm saying? So that height is not an advantage for Porter. So it's a hard road for him. Yeah, he won, but he took a L by public opinion. A lot of people thought he lost. And he says, oh, I'm going to go back and look at it. Well, let's see if you look at it. And honestly, I would love to be a fly on the wall when you do. You know, because he got countered again all night. And there's more and more people coming out saying, dude, you lost. You know, you lost to that Cuban kid. Or like Mayweather says, the boy from Cuba. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Floyd Mayweather's statements. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunched. Peace.